Roblox is in hot water, as it always has been. Around 2011 and possibly even earlier when guests were still a thing, and I'd make a joke about that if this video wasn't intended to be serious. I was introduced to Roblox through a video. I've been playing Roblox almost religiously since then, discounting a brief hiatus from when I got my account stolen when I was 9 years old, and I also still remember the time my mother relented and bought me lifetime Outrageous Builders Club membership after I quite literally begged for it. That is unironically probably the best thing my mother has ever done, because shortly after, Roblox removed lifetime memberships, and as you can see now, Roblox's monetization policies have been more predatory than ever, and so was the rest of the platform. That decision was almost the exact point you could see where Roblox started to go downhill. But this isn't about my connection to Roblox. This entire video is about Roblox's current but very worryingly rapid decline. I don't want to argue that Roblox is necessarily suffering from a downfall, because you go onto Instagram and the opposite is clearly happening, at least in popularity and maybe player count. Not now, at least. But a trend I've noticed, and you might have noticed as well from the videos I've made, is that the quality of Roblox games have gone downhill. Alongside that, the quality of Roblox as a platform and as a corporation. Hundreds of other people have made videos on Roblox's failings already, but at this point, I feel like keeping silent while I keep creating content about Roblox just doesn't feel right. Roblox's moderation has failed the entire platform. Yes, I'm not perfect myself, but I've obviously abused a lax and inconsistent moderation before in the past for suspect avatars, but that says a lot about Roblox's failure to protect the platform if a moron like me can take advantage of its poor and inconsistent moderation. You not only have the complete disaster that is the company's failure to protect children, AI age verification, but also the failure of Roblox's venture into China and Russia, legal battles, and now the slow burn of Roblox's identity into something that is just straight up unrecognizable. This isn't going to be the most in-depth video. Rather, it's a collection of as much information as could gather for this video. There are people who have made greater analysis into each section, and I deeply encourage everyone watching this to explore each topic individually, as Roblox's rabbit hole goes further and further the more you look into them.
Roblox! It's free!
The absolute hottest topic right now is the AI age verification. AI. Don't you love it? AI permeates most of our existence nowadays. Some might love it, others might hate it. In this case, Roblox partnered up with a company called Persona Identities Incorporated to create AI age verification. This is to reinforce safety in Roblox, which is already a huge problem on Roblox, as most of you would know from CEO David Baszucki's comments on the matter from a few months ago during his interview with the New York Times, November 22nd, 2025.
You have joined us today to talk about this new age gating policy that Roblox is rolling out to protect kids. And I think we should start by just talking about the scope of the problem here. What has led you to this point, and how do you think of the problem of predators on Roblox?
We think of it not necessarily just as a problem, but an opportunity as well. How do we allow young people to build, communicate, and hang out together? How do we build the future of communication at the same time?
According to Roblox themselves, they are the first online gaming platform to require facial age checks to access chat, establishing what we believe will become a new industry standard. This innovation supports age-based chats and limits communication between minors and adults. The age verification was also designed to guarantee user safety, stating, facial age estimation process to protect privacy. Images and videos are deleted immediately after processing. It's most of them stating their intention to hold up a strong standard for online safety and to fight against predators on the platform, which, as you may know, is a strong critical point against Roblox's handling on the platform. It goes further. Roblox claims to want to move the industry further in age assurance and security, which was designed to provide even more age-appropriate experiences for all users, which we believe will improve interactions for everyone of all ages. Essentially, Roblox claims that with facial recognition and AI to moderate and filter chat logs based on age groups, restricting chats from person to person if, let's say, person A is younger than person B, those two cannot talk if their age gap is substantial, like 12 to 18, but if they're within the same group, like 18 to 21, then they can talk just fine. It should be noted that communications between developers and their communities of bigger games, a lot pressure, will also be more difficult, because the change is also intended to prohibit and restrict sharing social media links on experiences. This one is a very vague change and can be pretty open to interpretation, because Roblox allows Discord and Twitter links to be shared on game pages, so perhaps it's suggesting you can't share it within the game itself, which also causes more problems because some games have developer exclusive codes that rewards you for in-game currency or items. First announced in July of the same year, the AI age verification announcement was already very controversial among Roblox users. According to the Times of India article, many of the criticism, including mentions of Schlep, who I will talk about later, notes on a blatant privacy violation that requires users, including people potentially younger than 12 years old, having to provide images and or videos of themselves, which is already a pretty big concern for a platform such as Roblox, as some have pointed out the platform has a lot of predatory problems. The same articles does raise that supporters would say the AI age verification is beneficial to security, particularly limiting the interaction between minors and adults and thus preventing predatory interactions. But on the other hand, critics have pointed out that AI tools can also be used against the system, creating fake faces or altering real ones to trick the system, basically allowing a backdoor for less than ideal people into age groups you want them out of. AI tools are also very finicky with actually estimating your age, as seen in Crickcraft's video.
Okay, these videos never get old, but there's no way that this one actually works, right? I mean, look at this kid. He just drew like a beard on with a Sharpie marker, and he's drawn like wrinkles on his forehead. There's no way this works. This kid's like 8 years old, estimating your age. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it tricks. It worked. You gotta be freaking kidding me.
The reaction by shareholders invested into Roblox's public stocks was also not positive, but that's the stock market, and there will be more about Roblox and its involvement in the financial world later. As all of you should know by the time of this video's upload, the AI verification system has already been implemented earlier this month, January 2026. Roblox celebrated the launch of this system with a post on their corporate website on the 7th, citing it as a strong momentum as tens of millions of users have already completed the verification process, especially in Australia and New Zealand, claiming that over 50% of the player base from those two countries have completed the process. Roblox claims that this is all done in the name of pushing the broader industry forward and has been very generous in sharing with us how the process was made. Privacy is paramount. Roblox claims that as per its platform's values via the Builder framework, it prioritizes user privacy and safety in deleting biometric data immediately after the age verification is completed. The same cannot be said by their AI security provider, Persona Identities, who claim to keep the data up to 30 days as per Roblox's very own facial media capture privacy notice page on their help website. Build multi-layered systems. Age checks are part of Roblox's larger multi-layered approach to safety, using the latest technology to innovate on the platform's filtered content, while also advising parents to help teach their children on how to navigate the online world. Designed for accuracy support with IPOs, in which Roblox claims that the system was designed to be as accurate as possible when estimating age based on preliminary testing in Britain, in addition to adding fail-safes and redundancies to help users report inaccuracies. Finally, there is focus on transparency. Roblox designed this entire system to explain the benefits of AI age verification to the community. Roblox finishes off this page with their emphasis to expand on the system as a whole, mentioning their intention to add age checks to the Roblox Studios collaboration feature. Finally, they have attached their own podcast to the page titled Tech Talks, or at least a specific episode where they talk about safety on the platform.
Right now, as we launch this age estimation, we won't be allowing kids to talk to adults, so that will be cut off. Kids will only be able to talk to their peers. You know, I think there are many use cases where kids talking to adults is totally appropriate, right? Like kids talk to their teachers and to their piano teachers and all those folks, their older brothers. And so we do need to build a system where that is allowed, where you're talking to trusted adults, and we will do that with our Trusted Connections product.
Yep.
I think the other thing to note is once we estimate your age, we're going to put you in all of the defaults for that age, not just about communication, but also for content maturity, right? What games can you play, for feature access and things like that. So we're really focused on a developmentally appropriate process of opening up features and access to content as kids grow up. And, you know, I know, Naren, your kids are teenagers, so handing them a device and sort of trusting them is fine, but like maybe for a 9-year-old, that's a different situation.
So I think when I was 6, I would probably have wanted access to the 18-year-old content, like just knowing what I was like when I was 6. So I think we are already very careful with that as far as ID check and a bunch of other things, but this does allow us to supplement that in certain areas. And what's going to be interesting is I think that'll be part of the pull of age checking. Like I want to age check in a way to be part of whatever my appropriate community is.
Judging from the comments people have left and the somewhat predictable results of the AI age verification being implemented globally, it's already producing less than ideal results. Very brave of Roblox to keep the comments open. The age verification has failed. Criticism of user privacy from having to use their faces aside, the system has already begun to inaccurately assign players to certain age groups. 15-year-olds have been getting assigned to 18 age groups, preventing users of that age from being able to talk to, let's say, a friend whose age verification was actually accurate. Additionally, some users have verified using their parents' ID cards when they were young, so now they've been assigned to a clearly adult age group and are unable to reverse it. A user on TikTok was also able to bypass verification by using a marker and drawing on his own face. At some point, you'd have to wonder if AI technology being used this early is actually a good thing. I was also told recently that someone bypassed the age verification by drawing a smiley face on their middle finger. Not everyone wants to use AI age verification, and some people also don't want accounts that are locked to a certain age group, so a new black market of sorts has formed on platforms such as eBay, selling age-verified accounts of certain age groups that finally allows people who purchase those accounts to talk with their friends. Selling items via third party is prohibited as per Roblox policy, so they've basically created a new market to facilitate the purchase of entire Roblox accounts. What's probably most damning about Roblox's partnership with Persona Identities is the fact that their service providers of choice is being sued over data privacy and management practices, as per Schlepp's tweets. It seems now that a data leak of sizable proportions is imminent, if not almost entirely inevitable. Discord's data was breached in October 2025, which happened after the UK enforced its age verification tools.
In Roblox, the eggs are smart. They attack and hide, and some only come out at night. It's up to you to outsmart them.
Now, this entire section has been covered by infinitely more competent YouTubers than I have. This rabbit hole is incredibly deep. If you look it up right now, you'd see hundreds of news articles and videos just talking about how bad of a problem Roblox has gotten itself into. There is a reason why Roblox implemented the AI age verification, and it's due to the platform and the company's history of being unable to protect children. It has gotten worse over the years. While it's worth acknowledging that no platform is perfect in protecting children from the dangers of the digital world, there are platforms that have done their jobs of protecting children far better than Roblox, like Club Penguin. Now, I used to play Club Penguin and I felt relatively safe playing that game when I was 8 years old, though I am talking from personal experience when that game used to be a thing before Disney shut it all down. Comparing Roblox to other services is kind of irrelevant to this. The biggest problem with Roblox's inability to stop predatory behavior and failure to enforce child safety has led to a not insignificant amount of lawsuits coming their way, to the point where even states across the US have begun taking action against Roblox. Due to Roblox's failure, popular vigilante and activist movements have popped up all across the platform to help protect Roblox from predators. Roblox did not like this. For those who are unaware, Ruben Sim is probably the most prominent vigilante on the Roblox platform. He has been criticizing Roblox for years on end, and primarily in Roblox's handling of its user base, and more importantly, inability to control and quash the rampant predator problem. His strong stance on safety has led to a lot of quarreling between him and Roblox's staff, up to including the multiple times where he was banned from the platform to which he got around.
A lot of my jokes and a lot of my criticism was directed at moderation. So Bob and his team of mods got together and started banning me, and they banned every single account that I created just because it was mine. And at first I was really heartbroken, especially after my first account, Navy898, was deleted. But after the 4th or 5th deletion, I stopped caring. And a week later, I was deleted on that long-standing account. Not just me though, I was living with my girlfriend at the time and we shared an IP, and the way that Noble Dragon banned me is he looked at the IP that I was using that account on and he found all the accounts that used that IP, and he banned all of those too. So my girlfriend was caught in the collateral of that, even though she's never broken any rules. She hardly even uses in-game chat, and the only thing she did wrong was be affiliated with me. All of her progress in all of her games wiped because we shared the same IP. So I think that was pretty dumb.
Around 2021, Roblox filed a lawsuit against Ruben Sim, accusing him of leading a cyber mob and sending terrorist threats to Roblox as a corporation, citing that he had this cyber mob commit unlawful acts to injure Roblox and its users. Ruben Sim was sued for around $1.65 million, and some of the reasons alleged from the lawsuits include accusing Ruben Sim of being responsible for a shutdown of the 2021 Roblox Developer Conference, RDC, in California, glamorizing a mass shooter, circumventing multiple platform bans, violation of Roblox's term of use by engaging in inappropriate conversation topics, up to including allegedly uploading pictures of the 1933 Austrian painter, and finally, harassing Roblox staff. If you want to get into the meat of the lawsuit, you can see Ruben Sim's response to Roblox's claims on this multi-part series responding to Roblox's lawsuit. While you and I can argue back and forth regarding his conduct and handling of the controversies he has gone into, especially after the lawsuit, hundreds of big YouTubers such as Moist Critical has made videos in support of Rubinson. You should support him regardless of what you've done on the Roblox platform. Even I do, especially if you're tired of Roblox's broken promises. That being said, Rubinson and Roblox eventually settled out of court. In January 2022, Rubinson was ordered to pay $150,000 instead of the $1.65 million and can no longer make statements considering threatening towards Roblox, being restricted from being physically near Roblox's offices, as well as a permanent ban as dictated by court order. Rubinson still continues to make Roblox content to this day despite being banned, primarily in calling out Roblox's poor decisions and moderation entirely out of platform. One such bot that has already been used by thousands of Roblox Discord servers is Rubinson's Role Cleaners, which singles out and bans users for engaging in condo games.
I made a system that automatically finds Roblox accounts associated with predatory behavior and stores them in a database. At first, my goal was to get Roblox's trust and safety team to ban these people, but as it turns out, it's not exactly profitable to rid their children's game of 20,000 porn addicts. And so here we are. While Roblox isn't interested in this list, their game makers are. Most of the games on Roblox are created by teams of third-party developers, and seeing that they don't work for a soulless multinational corporation, they actually care when their players are being abused and exploited. Thus, developers of some of Roblox's largest games like Arsenal, Maple Leaf Hospital, and Skibidi Toilet Tower Defense have reached out and asked for a copy of this list and ban all of these players from their games.
In case you didn't know, a condo game is an experience on Roblox where people are able to engage with each other in inappropriate activities. Lots of these exist on the Roblox platform and are especially prominent if you go through social media, where you can see hundreds if not thousands of videos of topics that would ordinarily be banned from Roblox, like strip clubs. This is the most visible on Instagram and was also investigated by the BBC on the 15th of February 2022. Roblox accepts it has a problem. We know there is an extremely small subset of users who deliberately try to break the rules, a spokesperson told the BBC. Condo games are usually only live for a short time, often less than an hour, before they are discovered and taken down. Roblox says it is constantly trying to take these games offline using both manual and automated systems. We conduct a safety review of every single image, video, and audio file uploaded to Roblox using a combination of human and machine detection, it said, but some explicit content does slip through the net. It's a cat and mouse issue, said Larry Magid, president of Connect Safely, a non-profit organization that raises awareness about child safety online. Perhaps the absolute worst of the worst examples of Roblox's poor moderation have been very generously provided by Hindenburg Research, a former investment firm that, while no longer exists, was responsible for the expose on the Nikola Corporation, a company touting revolutionary hydrogen truck technology founded by Trevor Milton, which turned out to be outright fraudulent and untrue, and also Adani Group, an Indian multinational giant mostly specializing in oil, mining, natural gases, and weapons, who Hindenburg Research accused of market manipulation and malpractice. Hindenburg Research's October 2024 report on Roblox is not only incredibly huge, but also in some way probably one of the most soul-crushing things I've ever had the displeasure of reading. While Hindenburg Research obviously has its own motivations, it's specializing in short selling, which is essentially betting against a stock price so the short seller's value will profit against a stock if the price of that stock goes down, and Hindenburg Research did indeed short their Roblox positions. It's very easy to give them credit with just how involved they were in their investigation. It certainly wasn't as successful as their Nikola and Adani reports, which obviously calls into question their motivations. But regardless, their report on Roblox highlights many key issues that does bring a light into why Roblox's moderation is so bad. Some of what Hindenburg Research reported on can't be said on this video, but the essence of it highlighting several key things outside of Roblox's finances is that it exposes from 2020 to July 2024, revealing games designed to be sexual, such as strip clubs, proliferating the platform, which enabled child predators. A case in 2018 reported a 29-year-old was caught by police with 175 hours worth of footage of him grooming 150 minors. Multiple predators between 2019 to 2024 criminally indicted for grooming minors aged between 8 to 14, with some even being kidnapped. Multiple Roblox groups dedicated to grooming children and soliciting abuse material being discovered, some of which have been banned since. But most importantly, despite Roblox's claims of best in the world content moderation, our interviews with moderators show safety was largely outsourced to Asian call centers. Moderators describe being paid $12 a day to review countless instances of child grooming and bullying with limited ability to keep perpetrators off the platform permanently. Keep in mind that Hindenburg Research sourced Rubinson for a lot of this, like Rubinson's Moderators for Dummies account entirely dedicated to hunting down predators. But Yes, the reason why Roblox's moderation is so incompetent is because they offshore the work to contractors who are underpaid and possibly undertrained to protect children from harm. The entire report is dire. It just goes to show that even with Roblox boasting its growth, they don't actually spend that much time and resources in ensuring the platform is protected, but I think that's already obvious enough if you browse Twitter or Instagram. While saying that Roblox has profited off the exploitation of minors might not be entirely true, you can argue the case that Roblox has certainly turned a blind eye to such exploitation up until recently. I've joked about this many times in my past videos, but online gambling is a huge problem on not just Twitch, Kick, Valve's Counter-Strike 2, it's also a problem on Roblox. Gacha is a term you're gonna have to get familiar with. It's named after the Japanese toy machine god Gachapon, named for the crank of the machine and the dropping sound it makes. A game you'd probably recognize the most for using gacha mechanics a lot would be something like Genshin Impact or even Battle Cats, which is a game I do play. Unsurprisingly, with the nature of gacha machines and gacha games, which sometimes require real-world money to gamble for in-game premium items, such as in the Battle Cats giving you the chance to unlock immensely rare units like Daybreaker Izanagi and Castly the Bane, both of whom can only be unlocked under certain banners that let you roll select units. So why did I show that in a video that's meant to be a serious look into Roblox's controversies? Well, it's because a lot of Roblox games have their own gacha system. Not all games have made them, but if you're familiar with the infamous Darkdivers ripoff of Helldivers, which I made a video on documenting that game's scummy practices, then you'd be able to piece together quickly why it's extremely questionable, if not downright illegal, for a platform like Roblox to allow what is essentially gambling on a platform. A game like Rabbids Takeover, which I covered in my previous video, restricts its gacha mechanics to a select few countries, so a player from Australia like me can only buy the loot boxes of Rabbids Takeover that already shows me what I'm going to unlock, rather than having to guess what I'm going to get out of it. Of course, in some legal definitions, gacha games aren't necessarily tied to gambling because you're not really wagering money like horse racing, but they're still subject to classification in Australia because in some way it's very similar to gambling. It's problematic for Roblox because gacha games have been criticized as being addictive as regular gambling, and given that Roblox is directly advertised to all ages, which includes minors, and so you've essentially created an environment leading children to get addicted to gambling. It's basically Souls RNG.
The entire gameplay revolves around rolling for rare titles, which are essentially cosmetic enhancements that carry no real gameplay weight, but are somehow highly coveted by the player base. So far, Souls RNG stood out to me, and the craziest thing about it is that people think it's a good game. Success of Souls RNG has spawned dozens, if not hundreds, of similar games on Roblox. These titles replicate its formula with little variation, saturating the market with games that promote passive gameplay and encourage gambling-like behaviors among young audiences. But obviously, Souls RNG isn't actually having these kids gamble real money, but if you think that makes it okay, then you're a fucking idiot. Souls RNG is simply shifting the Roblox landscape, and could have lingering effects on the types of games that children come to expect on Roblox. After all, why would you want to grind at a niche game when you can just sit still and get gratification for doing virtually nothing? Stuff like this is troublesome because it requires little effort, but the RNG aspect still hooks you, especially when you're given such great rewards for such little work. I mean, you just rolled a 1 in 450,000 chance aura, and you did no work. Isn't that great? Those big numbers definitely make you feel something.
Regardless of the intent of the developers, the festering pit of gambling has led to Roblox getting into trouble once again, where in mid-2023, a complaint was filed against a company in the US for alleged illegal profiteering of minors gambling and violating the 1970 Racketeering Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. Central to the lawsuit is Roblox's use and oversight of Robux, its digital currency that has actual monetary value. One Robux amount to that much money. Users under 18 can use their parents' credit card to buy Robux on the platform according to the complaint, and Roblox has knowledge of each transfer in the virtual ecosystem. The company's terms of services purport to bar the experiences that include simulated gambling, including playing with virtual chips, simulated betting, or exchanging real money, Robux, or inexperienced items of value, the complaint says. But Colvin and SAS allege that these guidelines are misleading given that the company has allowed third-party gambling websites to accept online bets using the currency. Roblox claims to have no association with third-party gambling websites and will protect the platform from gambling practices that violate the platform's policy, but clearly, Darkdivers and Pet Simulator are still on the platform and available to play in Australia. Don't take my word for it, but it's basically saying that we don't want third-party gambling on the website, but will allow homegrown gambling to prosper. This is despite Roblox's constant claims of partnering with law enforcement. In August 7, 2025, Matt Kaufman, the chief safety officer, talked in detail on Roblox Corporation website about the platform's dedication to safety by its partnership with law enforcement. This is what they claim. As part of our proactive moderation systems, we leverage advanced detection and rapid response protocols to report possible illicit activity, violent threats, or other real-life harms to law enforcement. We are focused on relentless innovation and our work on safety is never done. This partnership with law enforcement, which we are proud to highlight as Roblox participates in the 37th Annual Crime Against Children Conference, CACC, this week is part of our thorough, multifaceted efforts to help keep users safe. Our stringent safety measures may frustrate bad actors and push them to operate on other platforms. This is positive. We don't want them on Roblox, but we also know many of our users are active across multiple platforms and we want to contribute to their safety even when they're not on Roblox. This is one of the many reasons we collaborate with law enforcement worldwide while taking care to protect the privacy of our users. By helping to identify and disrupt bad actors, we seek to assist law enforcement in connecting the dots across platforms to further investigate and intervene where appropriate. Kaufman also writes about its deep and lasting relationship with law enforcement on the international, federal, state, and local level, maintaining direct connections to agencies such as the FBI and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children (NCMEC) to deal with threats proactively. This is despite Roblox's evident laziness in offshoring their moderation to call centers in Asia and has led to what is possibly Roblox's most controversial decision ever in the same month: vigilantism. Vigilante actions have become more and more common in the Roblox sphere as of late. Ruben Sim, while a very notable figure in his goal to protect Roblox even with his court order, is also accompanied by a similar vigilante by the name of Schlep. Schlep was a Roblox player and has been playing it since he was 12 years old, and he was a grooming victim. As a result of his grooming story, he attempted suicide. His mother sent an email to Roblox regarding this grooming incident that happened to her son that led to that self-harm attempt, and Roblox essentially gave them a very hand-wavy response. Because of that, Schlep became someone who would arrange sting operations against predators, collaborating with law enforcement and successfully getting several predators convicted of grooming minors on Roblox. However, Roblox does not like vigilantism. We've learned that from Ruben Sim, and so Schlep was also banned for his vigilante actions against predators on the platform. Roblox defends their actions and their prohibition of vigilantism by saying that it creates an unsafe environment for its user base, which is unusual since their inactions have also created this very same unsafe environment. Their greatest concern with vigilante actions is how vigilante activists such as Schlep have started impersonating children and actively sought to connect with adult users. Those conversations mimicked inappropriate behavior and actively encourage other users to connect on other social media and messaging platforms, thus bypassing Roblox's own safety systems. They deemed this to be unacceptable and claimed to act accordingly to their safety policy, which is also outlined in their post about collaborating with law enforcement. In 2023, we submitted 24,522 reports, 0.12% of the 20.3 million total reports submitted across the industry, to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children (NCMEC). As part of our strong relationship with NCMEC, we regularly meet to understand how we can provide the most helpful information to law enforcement about these bad actors. At the end of the post, Roblox encourages users to use the report functionality on their platform. This is the same company that uses outsourced moderation, so I wouldn't use that if I were you. Keep in mind, not even a few days after they made this post, a news article was published on Business Insider reporting on a lawsuit where a 9-year-old boy was groomed by a predator. If you want to know just how bad it has gotten for Roblox and their inability to moderate the platform, look no further than the list of countries that has banned Roblox.
Fighter, coaster, railgun, dump truck, RTS, wingsuit, RPG, tank, killer robot. Roblox. What will you build?
Unsurprisingly, because of Roblox's inability to moderate and protect its platform, it should come to no surprise that Roblox has been banned from multiple countries, not counting countries that are extremely restrictive of certain media, such as North Korea. The first and most obvious example is Roblox's 2021 attempt to dive into the Chinese gaming market, which is perhaps one of the biggest markets out there. Some of your favorite games like Marvel Rivals, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG, and Genshin Impact, or even companies out in the West, have likely been funded by huge Chinese technology conglomerates. Ruben Sim, for as much as you and I can criticize him for his conduct, has done an absolutely stellar job documenting the failures of Roblox's endeavor into China. His documentary shines a far better insight into Roblox's failure to tap into the Far East, but in case you want to know, Roblox spent a lot of time and resources trying to tap into this market. In 2022, Vice News reported in an article written by Joseph Cox on Roblox's leaked internal documents exposing Roblox's partnership with Tencent, a company some of you may know due to the company's infamy in certain gaming spheres, which was a partnership that only happened to comply with China's strict gaming regulations. These internal documents exposes Roblox's preparation against any potential Chinese partnerships that would theoretically hack into Roblox, as well as fully expecting Tencent to try to make their own copy of Roblox. Think of the infamous Team Fortress 2 knockoff in China titled Final Combat. It doesn't exist anymore. The documents are essentially the Roblox corporations getting high off its paranoia to a hypothetical Chinese hacking scenario. It also did show Roblox acknowledging its need to comply with Chinese authorities as to avoid getting the platform removed from the country, such as recognizing the Beijing government, the Chinese Communist Party, claiming Taiwan as part of China's territory and not as an independent state. There is a notable statement on the Vice article though. There is no evidence that Tencent did target Roblox. The document were originally obtained and published online this month by a separate criminal hacker who attempted to extort Roblox. Most of the article highlights Roblox preparing for approval with Chinese regulators and dealing with threats to its security in China. I find it kind of amusing that a certain Austrian painter were on the slides, but the same slide that shows him does mention a lot of scrubbing of history to appease Chinese censors. The whole saga and how it ended is much better summed up by Rumsen. This is merely what leaked outside of China, so if you want to hear the entire story of Roblox's screw up in China, please go watch this video instead. As for other countries, there is already a list of nations that Roblox has effectively been barred from, most of which are safety concerns, which are obvious enough, but others are a bit strange. The Wikipedia list of countries that are currently blocking Roblox includes the following, but are not limited to: Algeria, China, Iraq, North Korea, Oman, Palestine, Russia, and Turkey. Roblox has been criticized for a lot for not just endangering children, but also exploiting them, as former head of Roblox Studio, Stefano Corazza, stating that it wasn't exploitation, but rather a chance for destitute children to make a living creating Roblox content. Our average game developer is in their 20s, but of course there's people that are teenagers, and we have hired some teenagers that had millions of players on the platform. For them, hearing from their experience, didn't feel like they were exploited. They felt like, oh my god, this was the biggest gift. All of a sudden, I could create something, I had millions of users, I had made so much money, I could retire. So I focused more on the amount of money that we distribute every year to creators, which is now getting close to like $1 billion, which is phenomenal. Or you can say we're offering people anywhere in the world with the capability to get a job and even like an income. So I can be like 15 years old in Indonesia living in a slum, and then now with just a laptop I can create something, make money, and then sustain my life. This escapes the mention of Roblox's 75% cut, and the documentary by People Makes Games on Roblox's exploitative practices explores this much further. So why did I bring that up? Well, Turkey used that as a justification to ban Roblox in 2024, issuing a nationwide ban and a Turkish Directorate of Communications official stating that it was exploitation and Roblox's inability to protect children leading to the block. Turkish media has also claimed that Roblox hosted virtual parties promoting pedophilia and distributing Roblox through bot accounts to encourage children to partake in inappropriate activities. Roblox made a statement on this ban back in 2024 when it happened, claiming the usual commitment to protecting users from predatory behavior. A theme you might be noticing in this video is that they clearly have not managed to achieve this, if at all. If anything, it's very daring for Roblox to plan the opening of a regional office in Turkey, at least if the country ever decides to lift the ban, and that was reported back in October 23rd, 2024, and Turkey has yet to unban Roblox. A similar situation happened in Palestine, where the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy and the Telecommunications Regulatory Authority announced a ban on Roblox due to the platform's inability to protect children, and that the digital safety of Palestinian children was a national priority. Now, what about Russia? Their case is a bit stranger. While yes, the same concerns of child safety are still present, Russia's motivation in banning Roblox are overt concerns of potentially spreading extremist ideology to Roblox. Fair enough, but they also expressed concern over Roblox's ability to spread LGBTQ content. Of course, there is a worrying amount of extremism on Roblox, such as the terrorist attack that was being planned on Roblox, but in Russia's case, it's clearly motivated by its socially conservative values rather than just digital safety concerns. This concern has extended to other countries that are now considering banning Roblox. Indonesia's education minister Abdul Muti has stated the danger of Roblox's content exposing the Indonesian youth to inappropriate behavior. Dr. Gatra from the Australian Strategic Policy Institute says that Indonesia's focus on youth digital activities have heightened under President Prabowo Subianto, which aligns with the nation's conservative social values. What does this say about Roblox? Well, a lot. They clearly don't want to be blocked in any country, especially if it promotes positive platform growth. Matt Kaufman, the same chief safety officer from earlier, did talk about how New Zealand, Australia, and the Netherlands have implemented age checks earlier than anyone else, but they tend to avoid talking about the failures of their platform and inability to prevent harm from coming to children. Now, what if I told you this was possibly motivated by greed?
The buckets are free, so much money for me. Tell me why should I care for peace and love? The buckets are free, so much money for me. Tell me why should I care for peace and love?
Remember the Hindenburg report? I did mention more of it will be relevant later into the video, so here we are now. According to them, the Roblox company had been reporting consistent net losses at the time of the report's publication. Insiders have cashed out $1.7 billion and Roblox as a company is not really profitable, lying to investors and advertisers about its player base and growth. The amount of daily active users are also not that accurate, as it also accounts for bot-run accounts. This seemingly unusual obsession at Roblox with trying to raise its shareholder price is pretty suspicious, but to the mind of someone who isn't very knowledgeable in stock trading and public markets like me, this seems like to be either something incredibly alien in concept or just rich people being rich people. Roblox has gone onto record to deny the claims made by Hindenburg Research, despite what I believe to be overwhelming evidence against Roblox being sprinkled throughout the entire report. Sure, Hindenburg Research had their own motivations. They were an investment firm specializing in short selling. They betted against Roblox stock price, and while it did briefly fall, it clearly went back up not too soon after, but that's because Roblox's investors were more concerned with the company's quarterly earnings report in Q3 2024. In case you want to know the quarterly earnings report of that period, it can be summarized as a rise in revenue to $919 million, around $1 billion or so future revenues recorded, bookings from contracts, a net loss of $240 million, a strong rise in user base growth, and ultimately a general growth in revenue. If you want to be any more depressed, this quarterly report was what led to Hindenburg's research report being forgotten by the wider market.
Last year, activist fund and short seller Hindenburg Research came out with a report arguing, among other things, that Roblox was, quote, compromising child safety in order to report growth to investors. One of the things they pointed to was that there had been a decline in your spending on trust and safety. You have denied that. Why? What did they have wrong?
So fun. Let's keep going down this. And so first off, Hindenburg's no longer in existence, correct? So you should report on that. They went out of business for some reason. The other thing is, have you researched that information?
All of Roblox's actions covered in this video culminates in this ultimate summarization of Roblox's actions. Financial greed. Why would a company that claims to be so dedicated to growth and security be so incompetent in every regard? Why would the company, and by extension David Baszucki, be so obsessed with profit growth? All of their actions scream profits. Profits, profits, profits. Cutting corners in moderation, banning anyone who speaks out, utilizing poorly understood AI technology as a substitute, tapping into markets where others have pulled out. All of this leads to one logical conclusion. The stock market. This has been going on for quite some time, maybe even longer than I have researched. Essentially, Roblox is banking off its own controversy, selling its own stocks whenever it was most profitable and making hundreds of millions worth of shares, totaling almost $1 billion, like what the Hindenburg reported back in 2024. That is the most baffling, if not terrifying, part of Roblox's problems, in that the staff, the people responsible for protecting the platform, are possibly making money off their own failures. In July 2025, regarding Roblox's insiders trading company stocks, it was reported by the Nasdaq website that they had done this about 208 times in the past 6 months when the article was published, and of those 208 trades, all of them has been sales. David Baszucki, president and CEO, has made 0.89 sales, selling 8 million shares for an estimated $674 million. Same with Gregory Baszucki with $83 million, and the list goes on and on. Others have discovered this quite recently, a few days after I discovered this myself during the research process, but according to Yahoo Finance's insider transaction page on Roblox, everyone there, most prominently David Baszucki, Bazooki himself are still selling these stocks as recently as January 13th. His highest sale, as recorded by Yahoo, was made on June 6, 2025, totaling $170 million worth of shares. His most recent sale was made just recently, as of the recording of this video, on January 7th, selling about $5,100,000 worth in shares. Given the amount of shares sold in last November and this January, Bazooki had probably sold these shares right before the age verification and grouping update was announced and released, almost as if the sales were made predicting the controversial outcome and response to the update. Keep in mind that David Bazooki has around $5.1 billion in net worth according to Forbes, so remember that this man is profiting off a platform that is not only deeply flawed but also incredibly greedy. The attempt to appease shareholders and to line their own pockets has, unfortunately, but also quite predictably, led to the decline of Roblox's identity that every single one of us are witnessing in real time. The nostalgia of old Roblox is a tired trope that has been happening to us as early as 2011, where veterans of the platform would frequently bemoan the current state of Roblox and harken back to the golden age of Roblox where everything was better. While the quality of the games is arguable, this erosion of identity is much more evident nowadays with the proliferation of games such as Grow a Garden, Still a Brain Rot, overshadowing games that are much higher quality and made with passion. Even games I've expressed a strong dislike in the past, such as Horizon Blue, were made with a clear vision in mind rather than just the brainless exploitation of children with unrestricted access to their parents' credit cards. Even other examples such as Doors, Pressure, Centaur, and maybe even what used to be the Reason to Die series are discarded by Roblox's algorithm for various reasons, mostly the inability to catch the dwindling attention span of Roblox's increasingly younger user base and continue to reward games that were probably made in an afternoon to generate millions of dollars for Roblox. While this is an entire rabbit hole that you and I could spend days diving into, the most important takeaway from this is the death of Roblox's identity through greed of not just the platform, but also some of the game developers who put their products onto the platform in the first place. Preston Parks, the founder of Big Games, aka Built Into Games, have been criticized many times in the past for creating games with predatory monetization tactics, something I covered earlier in relation to Pet Simulator. He tried to create NFTs for that game, and predictably, given the current relevancy of NFTs, it did not succeed. That being said, it's not just the developers who are responsible for whittling away what's left of the former slogan powering imagination, but also so does Roblox's own admins. One admin was caught playing a fetish game. They technically stand to benefit from horde creation. Sure, they're meant to take it down and moderate the platform, but why do that when you can play a game that best fits your interests? I'm kind of just riffing here, but if an admin themselves engage in content they're supposed to be actively banning and moderating, then I think it just says how easy it is to bypass filters to create inappropriate content on Roblox, since if the underpaid overseas workers can't handle it, then the people who can and are supposed to handle it are busy being infatuated with the content they're supposed to be banning. Then there's also UGC. It's simply another outlet for Roblox to make even more money out of it, and also a pretty big source of child endangerment. UGC stands for user-generated content, where people are able to model their own virtual items rather than just uploading clothing, so you can make your own limited and hats. As expected, Roblox did not police UGC content properly when it was finally released publicly, and all hell broke loose. You've of course got the snowball cosmetic that are applied to your face, and it looks anything but like a normal snowball being thrown at your face. It's a euphemism for ejaculation, and it's not very subtle. There's also other questionable UGC items, enough of which has led to many people on the official developer forums of Roblox to raise concerns over it, but as you can see, Roblox has done basically nothing about it.
Apparently someone attempted to upload a knockoff of a popular limited, but with a texture straight out of a Meep City party. The texture passed initial content moderation, and I can definitely see why, because it looks like random nonsense until you realize what it'll be on the mesh. I don't know what has happened with it since, but there was at least an attempt to upload a high-end limited knockoff with a really weird bypass texture.
Now, Schlipp has already raised this, but ever since I read this story, I haven't been able to get it out of my head since then. So, there is a mother who runs an account named Marce Enzo. It is a Spanish account, so I apologize if I muck up the pronunciation. This mother gave birth to a son who, unfortunately, suffers from Pfeiffer syndrome. It's a genetic disorder where the child's skull is deformed because it closes before the brain finishes growing, leading to an underdeveloped face and bulging eyes. The son, unfortunately, did not survive because Pfeiffer syndrome can occasionally be severe enough to cause respiratory, breathing, and neurological problems. Now, that might sound unrelated, but unfortunately, due to the nature of Roblox UGC, a creator noticed this, and the first thing that crossed their mind was to immediately make a UGC hat out of the son's face. And frankly, not only does it look horrifying, it is also contextually horrifying. What you have here is a UGC hat depicting a child suffering from a genetic disorder out of his control, and one that he died from. And here is a UGC creator making money off the misfortune of not just the dead child, but also the grieving mother. The mother made a TikTok condemning this person, but if you want to have what's little left of your faith in humanity stripped away, this creator's username is Papi Akira Toriyama, so he's also mocking the death of the creator of Dragon Ball. How did Roblox respond? Poorly. They responded very slowly and only did so because Schlepp's audience raised a loud enough voice for this item to be banned. And what did the UGC creator do? Modified the original mesh to create the dead child's face and turn it into an android. Basically, he turned the child into a joke as tasteful as George Droid. He eventually got banned, but only after people made a loud enough fuss about it. And that's just mentioning UGC. I haven't even mentioned the controversies relating to Roblox's Innovation Awards, where most of its criticisms are essentially just a glorified popularity contest where users are enticed with in-game rewards to vote for a specific game. It's almost rigged and also goes against what used to be the core design of Roblox, which is again powering imagination, but what I'm saying merely scratches the surface of Roblox's fading identity. If I continued this, it would be going into territory that would take months to cover, if not years, and has already been covered by other YouTubers far more informed than I ever will be. There are hundreds of users even worse than this UGC creator I showcased, like Ma Bucket, Mr. Obvious, Faith, Kaneko Kitten, Kilokish, or Goofy, and Who to Trust. This entire thing is a rabbit hole within a rabbit hole, and even if I did go into their stories, all of which involve some sort of exploitation, either grooming or abusing the platform. What I'm arguing here is that the combined greed, failure to moderate, censorship, and the destruction of trust between Roblox as a company and its community has, in turn, led to not just the decline of Roblox's identity in the gaming sphere, but also just highlights the decline of Roblox as a whole. Mired entirely in the pursuit of money, all while people are constantly exploited on the platform. I originally wanted to make a video about Five Nights at Freddy's and Roblox, but here I am now. I think what this ultimately says about Roblox as a platform and as a corporate entity is the marching of time and the untimely death of personality. Not to become a pompous political analyst despite studying it, but now is a time when corporations and governments have become way more heavy-handed in how they treat people and profit off the suffering and misfortunes of those who are most vulnerable, especially children. I don't intend to make myself sound very high and mighty when I say this. I'm obviously not the perfect Roblox player, nor am I, well, pure myself, as one could say. That alone is obvious, but I have a deep-rooted connection to Roblox, more so than any one of my friends combined. I've been on this platform for God knows how long, been involved in many controversies or dramas, as some people may call them. What hurts most though is that this connection to Roblox is weakening. A lot of what made Roblox so iconic back then, despite its problems, is slowly being replaced with a completely different and almost indescribable identity, one that clashes constantly with Roblox's facade of an all ages and all demographics image. The internet is full of weird depictions of Roblox content, some of them either having just a surrealistic type of humor or something that would ordinarily be completely unacceptable under Roblox's supposed standards, like fascist imagery or straight up pornography that should not exist or be off-platform. Trust me, I would know. But people don't care. They put it up on the platform anyways. It's easy for someone like me to be apathetic to the problems of Roblox like I have been for so long, but in recent years, as the platform and corporations slowly chip away at what's left of Roblox identity and selling it to shareholders for a lie, it's something that makes me reflect on myself and wonder why I treated Roblox the way it is for the longest time. A lot of people don't take Roblox seriously, which is a problem. They look at one video about a Roblox game and dismiss it as child's play, but you look into the comments and see people very heavily invested in whatever topic the Roblox game is about, either it being a serious depiction of warfare or a very gripping fictional horror game like Shell Shock, Tower Pressure, and Doors. It's ridiculous to just say Roblox is for kids when even other companies and big name celebrities have taken a note at Roblox and decided to have a dive into it themselves, like with Sega, Ubisoft, Sesame Street, Paris Hilton, and even at one point Scott Cawthon. This is also what's killing Roblox. The need to grow the platform and the company's share value has led to a serious jeopardization of its morals and responsibility to protect people. I had my account stolen when I was really young, and I was very lucky to have managed to save it, but millions of others were not so lucky and have lost their account for a long time, if not forever, and Roblox's inconsistent moderation policy is to say to the hundreds and thousands of people whose accounts were unfairly banned. Predators also exploit the platform to target children easily, but Roblox doesn't care and they don't take a lot of actions against them because it seems like their addiction to short-term growth outweighs everything else. But ultimately, whether Roblox changes for the better or not is entirely dependent on how loud we scream and how much Roblox truly cares. And unfortunately, even if we scream until the end of the world, Roblox won't ever change unless there is a change in leadership. And with that, I say we should keep screaming into the endless Roblox void until they finally respond. Special thanks to my patron for this video, Sai.